Lap 32 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series presented by Burger King. The yellow is out. The cars are rolling in the 99 on pit road.
Yeah, they're changing that left side end plate on that wing. Pit road's closed, but they came down anyway just to go ahead and get this work done. The penalty is they'll have to start in the rear, but they needed to get in here early and get that fixed. Pit road will be open this time by. See if anybody comes down.
They just pitted on lap 27, and we'd gone back to the green flag on lap 31 when this incident happened. Now, what about the 14 car? You think he'll come down and try to take a look at some of the damage on that car?
Well, we'll see. Yeah, he looks like he is going to make it in here.
4 tires and 9 stays. It'll just work on
sometimes you just need to get this done, get this work out of the way. He's coming down towards you, Vince.
They're going to put some bear bond on the front nose of this race car and go ahead and put 4 tires on it. Darian Grubb took a look at the front end. He doesn't think it's major damage, but it's enough that they do want to address. So they brought the 14 in for Tony Stewart, hoping that it's not going to cause them any damage or ill effects throughout the course of the race. But that's the addressing that's being done right now. Little sheet metal, using the sheet metal.
See him going up there to the front and patching that hole. Taking this bear bond to attach that panel there, that patch they put on it.
We are at Dover International Speedway, and a violent impact produced a red flag at over 23 minutes. Now, we had just gone back to a restart on lap 31 when coming down the back straightaway, there was a chain reaction crash involving 4 cars. Tony Stewart's car involved in a little bump from behind by the 20 car, and suddenly Joey Logano's car is going side over side. There's the 20 car. 7 times it rolled over. You see the 43 of Reed Sorensen, Robbie Gordon involved, the 1 of Martin Truex Jr.
It just seemed like this car would never stop tumbling. It just kept flipping over. Finally comes to rest. And lucky for Joey, it did come back down on the wheels here.
And the best news that all 4 of those drivers involved have been checked out and released at the Infield Care Center. They are okay. We talked about how things happen in a hurry here at the Monster Mile in Dover, Delaware, and we talked at the top of our show. Everyone said Talladega is a wild card race because things can happen so quickly there, but there were a number of drivers in the garage area who were very worried about this place.
Yeah, things always happen. They happen quickly here. And I tell you, we get ready to go back to green. These drivers are going to face another racetrack, too, as we talked about getting that rubber down. The sun's come out here. Pretty much the clouds have gone away.
Let's talk to our in-race reporter, Tony Stewart, and check on his car.
Hey, Tony, Dale Jarrett, you have a copy?
Yeah, man.
Any damage that you know about that's going to affect your race car here for the rest of this race?
They had to put a plate on the front to cover up a hole there where I drove through Joey there. I wish I'd have saw that coming, because I don't know how to say sorry enough to Joey, because I don't know what happened. I mean, he just had to check up, and I didn't see it coming or anticipate it coming, and I drove flat through him. But Darian and these guys in the Burger King team did a good job getting a plate back on the front to cover the hole up and getting a couple screws in, and plus getting the bear bond on the outside of it. So it should hold it, plenty secure. It's better just to take the time to fix it now early in the race than having to try to fix it later.
All right, buddy. Good luck.
Thank you.
You heard him talking about Joey Logano. Joey became somewhat of a protege because Joey was going to take over the ride that Tony had driven for 10 years and vacated to go form his own team. And that 20 car that Tony made so famous and won 2 championships with. So they became friends, and Tony was really helping the young man. So the last thing he'd want to ever do was have contact with anyone, but much less someone like Joey Logano.
Yeah, we can tell from what we saw there's nothing Tony could do there. That was just a chain reaction thing, and nothing he could have done to avoid it.
Carl Edwards had come on pit road too soon before pits was open to get that end plate fixed, so he'll start at the back of the field. Meanwhile, up front, it is a double foul restart. Ryan Newman, the leader, Kurt Busch, Paul Menard, Greg Biffle. That's a top 4. Jamie McMurray having a good run thus far. Casey Kane, who was the quickest car in happy hour in final practice. He has come toward the front very quickly. Watch for that 9 car to make a move. Here they come for the green flag.
Ryan Newman, both of his times, has chosen the outside lane to restart this race in. Seems to be working.
We can see Kyle Busch. He's making a move on the outside, passing a few cars. Still going.
Trying to get to the high side of Clint Boyer, the 33 car, and trying to move in on the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. That's 9th, 10th, and 11th position.
You can make that outside really work here for the first couple of laps when you've got some grip and the car's down on the inside, low air pressures and things. You can really make that outside work to your advantage.
3 wide. Mark Martin getting into 3 on the outside. That was risky.
There's Martin, top of your screen, as he's in right in behind the 83 and the 11 car that are running side by side for position. That's 14th.
All of these drivers talked a lot about the double file restarts here, how it might affect them. And yeah, we've always had double file restarts after you had lap traffic, but here you've got cars that are fast race cars that you're having to deal with for a number of laps. So they were really concerned about how this may play out here.
You talk about drivers who were concerned. Denny Hamlin, you saw that 11 car make a pass a moment ago, and Hamlin has had abysmal luck at this place, and he said he was really dreading coming here. The last 4 times here, he has finished 36th or worse.
Casey Kane making a move on Paul Menard. Yeah, we saw that luck continue yesterday in the nationwide race with Denny Hamlin. Had a good car and then got caught up in something.
And there is Juan Pablo Montoya moving into your picture and also moving in to the 5th position.
Now, Paul Menard's done a nice job. He stayed in the top 10 during that 25-lap run and then got 2 tires on that. Still running very well here today, but Montoya is able to pass him and take over that 5th spot.
Now look at Jeff Gordon. We talked about how his car was really out of sorts yesterday in the final practice session, and they were working so hard to get him dialed in, and he's a factor here early on.
Yeah, he was good that first run. I watched him start towards the end of that first run, really making some progress. So I think they found something at the end of happy hour that really lit this car up. But he did struggle for most of that practice.
I think part of that, listening to Jeff's interview before the race too, I think they went over and took a lot of that 48 stuff because they knew he did the tire test here and he was very fast here throughout every practice session. So I would say they incorporated some of that into their setup too.
Hamlin, the 11 car, 5 is Martin, and they are trying to go by the 31 car of Burton. That would be for position. That's the 13th spot.
Well, yeah, a lot of great racing going on here. These guys are side by side and really having to battle for each and every spot. You can't really define if the bottom is the fastest way around or if that second groove is going to be working pretty good here today.
Well, look how quickly this track has rubbered in and gotten dark there. It took 400 laps last year, and it never got this dark. And here we are just 44 laps in, and this new Goodyear tire really gripping the racetrack. More on the 11 car. Dave.
You talked about their lack of luck here, and in talking with crew chief Mike Ford this morning, he understands it as well. In fact, he was a little bit concerned about how much they had to tighten up the setup of this car this time because they were worried about right front issues. You know, too much wear on that right front, and this place definitely tends toward that. I said, okay, what happened to the string here, by the way? He said, a right front went on us. So they've been a little bit concerned about that, but so far, so good. And we'll see on one of these long runs how that right front has taken all the abuse.
I can promise you that's not out of the minds of most crew chiefs. You know, this track is so hard on right front tires. You know, you just got to always think about that, and that's why you'll see every time they have a caution, they'll at least get right side tires to try to extend that wear as much as they can.
Back behind this group, the 88 car now on the move. Dale Earnhardt Jr. We told you that he started 23rd a week ago in New Hampshire, got all the way into the top 5, and was involved in a side-by-side incident that took him out of the race. He's on the move again.
Yeah, he really is. Made a couple of passes there on the top side of the racetrack. Got himself up into the 17th or 16th spot right now. He told me on Friday that car last week was the best car he had had all year. As you see, giving up a spot to AJ and Almendinger there, who's having a good run. AJ was really good in practice here yesterday, but Junior said that was the best car he's had all year. He hated that it ended up the way that it did.
And the 5 car, Mark Martin, just made the pass on the 11 for 13th position. So now they're going to try to run down the 33 car of Clint Boyer, who's up in 12th spot.
Well, those first few laps of the race, that 5 car was just about out of control, but now that the track's rubbered in, he looks really good.
Ryan Newman, our leader here at Dover International Speedway. He has now led the last 20 consecutive laps. Back after this message and a word from our ABC stations.